They were raised in ordinary homes. They went to school, had friends, shared dinner tables, just like anyone else. But behind closed doors, something darker was brewing. Hidden resentment, deception, greed, and the desire for control transformed sons into killers. Tonight, we uncover 5 chilling true stories of children who murdered their own parents. Acts so cold, they shocked entire nations. In the summer of 2021, a quiet Wisconsin neighborhood woke up to a nightmare. 23-year-old Chandler Halderson called the police, claiming his parents had gone missing after heading to their cabin for the weekend. He appeared calm, even concerned. But investigators noticed something off. Chandler's story kept changing. As detectives dug deeper, they discovered a web of lies. Chandler had been pretending for years, lying about his college degree, a fake job at SpaceX, even imaginary promotions. When his parents discovered his deceit, they confronted him. That confrontation ended in bloodshed. Chandler shot his father in the back, then killed his mother when she came home. What followed was unthinkable. He dismembered their bodies and scattered the remains across rural Wisconsin, even texting relatives while pretending to be his parents to cover his tracks. Within days, police found human remains on a property linked to Chandler. DNA confirmed the truth. The young man who once smiled for family photos had become a cold-blooded killer. In 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Travel back nearly 3 decades earlier to 1992, Fresno, California. The Ewell family was wealthy, respected, and seemingly close-knit. But behind the luxury cars and mansions, 21-year-old Dana Ewell was growing impatient. He didn't want to wait to inherit his family's fortune. He wanted it now. Dana plotted with a friend, Joel Radovchich, to have his parents, Dale and Glee, and his sister Tiffany, murdered. Over Easter weekend, the 3 were shot dead inside their home. For months, the crime went unsolved. Dana played the grieving son perfectly, comforting relatives, giving interviews, pretending to seek justice. But police noticed inconsistencies. He never asked about the killer. He only asked about the inheritance. After a long investigation, detectives found that Dana had paid his friend more than $100,000 to carry out the murders. It was greed, pure and simple. Dana Ewell was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. His wealth, his image, his family, gone forever. In Nebraska, 1958, a different kind of horror unfolded. 16-year-old William Leslie Arnold had just been grounded by his parents for coming home late. It was an ordinary family argument, until it wasn't. In a fit of rage, Arnold took a gun and shot both his mother and father. Then, shockingly, he buried their bodies in the backyard, cleaned the house, and told friends his parents had gone on vacation. For weeks, the lie held up. He went to school, attended parties, even mowed the lawn, all while his parents lay buried a few feet away. When the bodies were finally discovered, Arnold was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. But years later, he escaped, vanished, and started a new life in Australia under a false name. For decades, no one knew the truth, until DNA testing in 2022 finally revealed that the quiet family man who had died overseas was in fact William Arnold, the teenage killer who buried his parents and buried his past. In 2008, in Maryland, another tragedy unfolded in a middle-class suburb. 15-year-old Nicholas Browning lived what many considered the perfect life. a loving family, a nice home, and a promising future. But behind his calm exterior, Nicholas harbored deep resentment toward his father's strict discipline. One weekend, while his family slept, he took his father's handgun and shot his parents, John and Tamara, then turned a weapon on his younger brothers. He later went to a friend's house, played video games, and acted as if nothing had happened. When police questioned him, Nicholas broke down and confessed. He said he was tired of being told what to do. He wanted freedom, but freedom came at the cost of 4 innocent lives. He was sentenced to multiple life terms and will spend the rest of his life behind bars, a reminder of how teenage anger can turn deadly. And then there were the Menendez brothers, Lyle and Eric. In 1989, the wealthy Beverly Hills family seemed untouchable. Jose and Kitty Menendez lived in a mansion, their sons spoiled with luxury. But beneath the surface, there was chaos. The brothers claimed their father was abusive, that their lives were filled with fear. Prosecutors, however, told a different story, that they killed for money, eager to inherit their parents' millions. One night, the brothers armed themselves with shotguns and brutally murdered their parents while they sat watching TV. The crime was shocking. Even in Los Angeles, a city used to dark headlines, their trials became national media sensations. First mistrials, then retrials, endless debates over motive and abuse. In the end, both brothers were convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. Even decades later, their case divides the public. Were they victims driven to desperation, or privileged killers who wanted wealth without restraint? These cases remind us that evil doesn't always come from strangers lurking in the shadows. Sometimes it comes from within the home, from the very people we're supposed to trust most. The idea that a child could destroy their own family is perhaps the darkest form of betrayal. What drives them? Is it greed, anger, delusion, or something deeper, something broken inside the human mind? We may never fully understand, but as long as these stories exist, they serve as haunting reminders of how fragile the line is between love and destruction.